Good morning and welcome back to Brodeur Land, all 8th grade math students. Today it's day 4 of week 4. That's right, we're getting near the end of week 4 and we're wrapping things up. But let's talk about today's question for Thursday. Today's question says we need to find 3 rectangular shaped items around the house. And for credit, we need to draw or sketch out the image, which hopefully will look like a rectangle, label the length and the width, and we need to use Pythagorean theorem to solve for the diagonal, or what we call the hypotenuse for our shape. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you one example for this video, and then of course you can go and find 3 examples in your house. So the first thing is we're going to go to my example, and that's going to be my TV. So let's come over here to the TV over here. Okay, clearly my TV right here is definitely rectangular shape. What we need to do is we need to find the length and the width, or on a TV, that would probably be the height. So if I measured the height right here, that looks like it's about 21 inches. So I'd write 21 inches for one of my dimensions. And then I'm going to go straight across. And that looks like it's about 36 or 3 feet. So 36 inches right there. So now, once I get my well, in this case, my height and my width, or your length and your width, you're going to go over to your paper, or for me, I'm going to go over to my whiteboard right here. And I'm going to kind of write down what we have. Now, of course, I sketched an image of my beautiful TV. I know you guys are thinking, man, Mr. Brodeur, that is such a masterpiece. I know. I wish I could have had more time to do even better and kind of add a little bit more detail, but you know, with the whiteboard, I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in what I got. So we said that this part of my TV, the height part, was 21 inches. And then we said the bottom part, or the width of our TV, was going to be 36 inches right there. Now let's go over to Pythagorean theorem, because what we want to do is we want to find this diagonal right there. Now, when I do that, and I want to find this hypotenuse, that creates a right triangle, and hopefully this is bringing back some memories when it comes down to Pythagorean theorem. And if you remember, the C is always associated with our diagonal, with our hypotenuse. And if you remember, maybe your teachers, I know in my class I mentioned if you go straight across from the 90-degree angle, that is always going to be your C. That's always going to be your hypotenuse. Now, A and B doesn't really matter. A could be 21 inches, or A could be 36 inches, and B is just the other one. I'm just going to call A my 21 inches, and my B my 36 inches. The only one that really matters that you label is C. C has to be the hypotenuse. A and B, it doesn't matter which one's A or B, they just have to be the legs of the triangle. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to go plug these things in. So I'm just going to plug 21 in for A, but please remember, all these variables right here where we're plugging in, they are squared. So we need to make sure we have that exponent, because I know some people might be tempted to forget that, plus my B, which is 36, and then don't forget the squared. Now, of course, we don't know C, so I'm going to write down my C squared right there. And then, really, all you have to do is just plug this into your calculator. 21 squared plus 36 squared. Now, remembering back to, I think, week 3, we hit a snag with this, or one time when we were doing some exponent stuff, and we said, hey, if we don't have a fancy calculator, how do we plug in exponents? Well, remember, this is just saying 21 times 21 plus 36 times 36. So if you don't have a fancy calculator that allows you to do exponents, then just multiply your dimensions twice, add it to your other dimension, and then you can add them all together. And so when I do that, I'm going to get 1,737 equals c squared. Now be careful. A lot of people are tempted to stop right there and go, Mr. Brodeur, I got my answer. My hypotenuse is 1,737. But be careful. One, that would be a very long hypotenuse given that this is 21 and this is 36. Probably my C needs to be closer to my A and B numbers. So this needs to be a little bit smaller, which reminds me, and I'm going to use a different color to point this out, we got to get C completely alone, and we got this little square chilling out right there. And remember, the inverse of a square is a square root. So you're going to square root both sides like that. That way you can eliminate the square and just get your C all by itself. And then you're just going to square root this last part right here. And this should give you 41, or at least give me 41.7 inches right there. So this would be my answer, my hypotenuse, which makes sense. Like I said, Mr. Brodeur said this should fall in line closer to these numbers, which it does. Also, your hypotenuse will be your biggest side. So 41.7 is clearly bigger than 21 and 36. Now, just a little bit of information. The next time when you go out to go buy a big screen TV or whatever you want to buy TV-wise, when I went to go buy this so many years ago, they said this was a 42-inch TV. Clearly, and probably if you do your own TV, if it's a rectangular shape, you'll find that your TV might be slightly smaller than what they calculated or what they showcased when they were trying to promote your TV. And they always tend to round up. So I'm kind of curious to see if your TV, if you decide to do that, falls under my category where they kind of lied and it's actually slightly smaller than what they promoted. But anyways, let me know. That is everything you need to know about rectangles and trying to solve for your hypotenuse and using Pythagorean theorem. But just let your teachers know. Send us emails. Let us know if you got any questions about this. But until next time, Brodeur out. Peace.